So Sunday afternoon, I was sitting on the couch, and it was very clear in my head, Spirit saying about how we need to prepare ourselves, because it's almost like the energy is building up and we're building up towards something. So we can expect a big epiphany. We can expect a big event. We can expect something crazy to happen in each of our lives individually that's going to force us to start shifting our perspective, to start looking at things in a different way. And that led me this morning in my quiet time to sort of ask the question of, why do we all, human beings, why do we find it so difficult to focus on the positive? Why is it so hard for us to be optimistic? Why are we so pessimistic? And I'm sure you already know the answer. We are animals at our core. We are, creatures, and we are creatures of habit, and we are creatures of habit that have been programmed and conditioned to survive. Survival is our number one priority. So we're always looking for threats, we're always looking for dangers, and we're always then doing whatever we can to eliminate those threats and dangers. And this is why we are hardwired into being pessimistic as opposed to optimistic. But I do believe, as an optimist myself, that we can shift this. The only way to shift this is by just shifting your perspective a little bit, and to start every time you have a negative thought, every time you have a difficult thought, to ask yourself, well, what happens if it's not like that? What happens if it turns out to be okay? What happens if everything works out in your favor? So I want us to turn a fear into a positive. So I want you to give it a thought. Then I want you to comment below and to let me know what is like. Don't go for the big stuff, okay? Let's not set ourselves up for failure right off the bat. Let's start off with something small and simple. And I want you to comment below with a small, simple fear that you can shift around into thinking, what happens if it does happen? What happens if it works out okay? What happens if it's amazing?